Alright, who would have thought that this tiny little keyboard would make such a big impression? I mean, it's got me throwing away all my foam, and I almost thought somebody made a mistake because included in the box, there were two PCBs, one for soldering and one for hot swap. But it turns out, there was no mistake. What's up guys, today we're talking about the Arc 60 by Vertex, a semi-frequently in-stock 60% keyboard that shook the scene since its initial release in December 2022. Now if you've seen my previous videos, you know I'm more of like a 75% and TKL type of guy, but honestly, this thing's got me feeling some type of way. But let me explain why. So the unboxing experience was somewhat minimal, but still memorable in terms of packing, but in a way it's actually kind of fancy. So when buying, you get the option to pick from wing key or wing keyless versions. And you got 12 anodized or coated color options that are simply gorgeous on the Arc 60, man. I'm rocking the unique colorway simply because I could not pass up on a chance to rock a golden keyboard, and the quality is on point. We're talking anodized aluminum with beautiful design curves, which seem to be inspired by the name. Maybe it's the other way around. Either way, you can find a number of different arcs evident throughout the whole design. Now drop a comment if you can guess how many arcs there are in this whole design, bro. I will give you something for free. Speaking of the design, the Arc 60 is 100% screwless, which basically means there are no visible screws on the whole outside of the case. I mean, I understand from like a pretty design standpoint, but in the terms of ease of use, you can just show me where the screws are, I'm not complaining. You also get a couple of varying mounting options too, like an aluminum plate with gaskets, and you can even run this thing plateless. Which leads to the biggest thing that I'm really feeling about this keyboard, man. The fact that they include two non-flex cut PCBs, one hot swap and one for soldering. And that's pretty much unheard of at the price of $269, bro. Yeah. There's some little convenience features as well included, such as the tiny screw that you can use to hold down the USB plug-in cable. Let's go ahead and tune into how this thing sounds. For the switches, we're running the coffee chip Tactile switches, and for the keycaps, we went ahead and threw those Osume Tsukimi keycaps on because I felt like they matched perfect. Let's go. All right, man, let's talk about sound. The sound of this keyboard blew my mind because of all the keyboards I've tested, nothing quite sounded just like this Arc 60, bro. I'm trying to tell you. At first, I wasn't sure how to feel about it, but after a little bit, I understood that it was kind of like that friend that you meet that's sort of shy, but as you warm up to them, you really like their personality. This keyboard is like that, but the person becomes your best friend. So basically, the Arc is like my bestie at this point, man. We go way back. Dang, that sounded kind of lonely. Let's talk about some more of the things that I liked about this board. The small size was actually very refreshing, but there are some cons, and I'll get to that later. Like I said before, man, that those 2 PCBs included for the sticker price, man, is virtually unheard of. The sound, stock with no foam, is so unique, man, because it's like it's got an acoustic to it. It's not really hollow, but it's definitely not foamed up, man. You gotta kind of listen. You gotta try for yourself to really understand, especially if you're used to coming from, like, you know, budget boards. A lot of the acoustics are positively affected by the fact that the USB daughter board is securely tucked underneath the weight, which pretty much seals it, preventing any of that non-wanted hollowness that may affect your sound signature. At first, I was kind of curious about that, but now I'm understanding that it was actually a great call. Okay, so when it comes to the things that I didn't like about the Arc 60, is that the 60% doesn't include any kind of arrow keys. I mean, it's not that that's specific to this board, but man, just 60%. I do a lot of video editing, so my timeline is like shortcutted. I move forward frame by frame with those arrow keys. So for me, that's kind of a con. It's something I can't really deal without. But I was able to make a workaround, but you know, I'll probably be using my 75% keyboards a little bit more, man. Now, when it comes to the hot swap PCB, that one locks you into a 7U spacebar setup, which was almost pointless for my matching keycap since the Osume's doesn't include a 7U spacebar. But lucky enough, there's an alternative PCB in the solder PCB. The soldering one gives you so many different layout options, man. You can run the 6.25 all day. Another thing is that the plate was pretty tight, man. I'm not sure if it was my coffee chip switches, but I literally broke like 3 of them, man, just trying to remove them. So the hot swap experience didn't feel very swappable to me at all. Now, it could be the plate and it could be the switches, but either way, I've never experienced that until I tried it on this board. So I figured I'd mention it. For this last con, is something that's very hard to reproduce. It's kind of a random echo or pinginess. It's not very consistent at all. Considering it still sounds so good, I didn't see a huge issue to try to fix it. It's not a deal breaker at all. Anyways, if you're still curious if I recommend this board by now, I don't know where you've been for the last few minutes because, yep, I would say buy 2, but they're not paying me to do all that. But the good thing about it is that you can actually buy it right now at the time of me making this video, which means there's no long group buy periods. So you better go check out before they sell out, if you know what I'm saying. So who is this keyboard for though, you might ask? I'd say this keyboard is for anyone. From an enthusiast somewhat new to the hobby, looking for the smallest keyboard they can find without dwelling too far into no man's land. I'm talking about you guys running 40%. But the sound and the build options are sure to still please even the most experienced of enthusiasts. If I'm being real, this could serve as your first keyboard ever, or your last if you ask me. Now, man, I also wanted to say thank you for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers, man. Although at this point we've probably blown past that even a bit, but I also wanted to let you guys know that you are appreciated because I'm doing these videos for you. So I'm excited to see you guys actually enjoying them. And that's it for my Arc 60 video review. Thanks for making it this far. I'm not gonna ask you to subscribe this time, but if you want, go ahead and check out another video I made right here. And you can decide if you want to subscribe while you watch that one. Hope your day is awesome, and I'll catch you guys next time.